This video will cover a new feature in Sheet-Cam called path rules or cutting rules. It is based under the tools section. We can create a rule set. We don't have one yet, so we need to add one. So I'm just going to give one a name called test. Now we have a rule set. We have no rules in it, but we do have a rule set. So we can now add a rule. Now bear in mind, this is more advanced. I highly recommend just learn the basics of cutting and getting decent quality or good quality, and your torch height control working properly and you're happy. Then you can fine tune with rules. I wouldn't get caught up. There's a lot of machines out there that aren't even using rules, cutting great stuff. It's actually a new feature and it will make a difference, but I would really discourage you from jumping in and just the first day starting to add rules. Work your way up to that. Alright, the rules can be based on a start, before and end, on a lead in, on a lead out, on inside corners, outside corners, all corners, small shapes, small circles, on arcs, peripheral feed rate, and a near a pierce. So let's go on small shapes. So we can say shapes that are smaller than ½ an inch. We want to decrease the feed rate to 60%. We want to shut torch height control off. And then after that is complete, we want to turn it back on. We now have just created a rule in the rule set of tests, but that is rule number 1. So let's see how we can apply that. So down here to our operation, you saw that we had a choice here, path rules, that I said would be covered later. You can actually edit it right from here. Now here we only have one choice, and that's test. So if we apply that, anything, this particular drawing does not have that, but anything that's less than ½ an inch, it is going to automatically drop the feed rate to 60% and turn torch height control off. When it's done doing that cut, it's going to increase the feed rate back to 100% and turn torch height control on. So that is how cutting rules work, and you can create as many as you'd like. So let's go into this one and let's change that to on small circles, smaller than 3 inches, which is a bit extreme. I'm just showing it will work with this drawing. Typically it would be 3/4 of an inch to ½ an inch. We'll choose OK. OK. So now in this particular case, go in here and choose the appropriate material we're cutting it out of. What path rule, and OK. And we want an inside offset, an arc lead in, and an arc lead out, actually perpendicular. There we go. Now see how it's a different shade of color? That's because it's applying a path rule. So that's the basics of path rules. They're very powerful. Again, I would highly recommend you learn the basics of cutting and generating G-code and getting good cuts before you play with this, because it can actually cause problems if you don't know what you're doing. But it's a very powerful program, and there's a lot more information at Sheet-Cam's website. But again, I would learn the basics first.